Alex Murdaugh has been finally convicted and sentenced in the death of his wife, Maggie, and his son, Paul. But what happens next? The South Carolina Department of Corrections has actually tweeted something that will let us know. And I don't even follow Twitter like that.
Yeah.
Let's pop over to what they put up on their Twitter website here. South Carolina Department of Corrections inmate Richard Alexander Murdaugh has arrived at Kirkland Reception and Evaluation Center in Columbia. He will be assessed there before being assigned permanently to a maximum security prison. And then they have an attachment here, and you can see the photo that they have of him here. I'm going to save this whole shaved head look for a separate video because apparently they've got a policy around this, but we'll talk about that in a separate video. So we've got this document. South Carolina Department of Corrections for immediate release just came out yesterday. I'm on the ball. Columbia, South Carolina, Richard Alexander Murdaugh will be processed into the South Carolina Department of Corrections today when he arrives at Kirkland Reception and Evaluation Center in Columbia. SCDC processes all male inmates into its system at Kirkland. As a part of the intake process, like all inmates, he will undergo medical tests, mental health, and education assessments, and SCDC will gather other additional background information. Next, SCDC inmate classification system, we're going to take a look at that, will follow the same process it follows for all inmates. Evaluate the results of tests, assessments, and screenings administered to him, taking into account his crime and sentence, 2 consecutive life sentences, remind you, and use all of this information to assign the inmate a specific custody level and prison. This evaluation process takes about 45 days. After the process is complete, he will be sent to one of SCDC's maximum security prisons, like all new inmates serving life sentences. You can find more information about the classification plan here and then a shorter synopsis. So yes, let's take a look at, I think, this point system that they're talking about, if I can pull it back up, because I did go ahead and look at it a little bit, but it does sort of break down how they come in and then the points they can get that determine apparently where they go. I had no real idea. This is the synopsis version that we are looking at here. Inmate reclassification, the basics, a point system. It says new inmates and inmates who have been in SCDC custody for fewer than 12 months receive points for a variety of factors, including age, education level, current and prior offenses, escape history, assaultive history on inmates or staff, and gang affiliation. After serving 12 months, the system begins placing a higher value on behavior rather than convicted offenses and background. Inmates who have been in SCDC custody for longer than 12 months have 2 additional categories that are also considered: disciplinary history and participation in work and or programs. So you've got this custody level here that they're talking about. Projections, and I guess that's advancing people to a lower custody level, and then they've got the sentences piece here. So then here's the reclassification, but yeah, so that gives us a little bit of information about that. But where is he going right now, this Kirkland place? Well, let's head over to check it out. South Carolina Department of Corrections has a website. I can pull that up so that we can actually take a look at it and learn a little bit more about this facility where he is now going to be spending some time. South Carolina Department of Corrections, Kirkland Correctional Institution. Now, this title is a little different from what they said, but it says Columbia, South Carolina, Broad River Road, gives you a map there so you can see where it is. It says it receives, assesses, classifies, and assigns all male offenders age 17 and above to sentenced to 91 days or more. Receives approximately 8,000 offenders each year. It's a site for the maximum security unit that serves the state. The specialized housing unit is where the most dangerous and violent offenders are housed. So that is where he is. He was found guilty of killing his wife and his son. So it makes sense that they would send him to this specialized housing unit where the most dangerous and violent offenders are housed. They do some educational evaluations here. It says routine medical and dental care are provided on site. They have a mental health services provided by the staff of the Gilliam Psychiatric Hospital, if I'm saying that correctly. They have religious service, volunteer services, and recreational services. But that's it. Yeah, so that is where he is headed. And then at that point, my understanding is he will then head to the maximum security place where he is going to stay. And this is sort of this assessment center, I guess, is where this is happening. I should look this back up and just sort of double check. Yeah, I don't see any additional information about this as I'm taking a look at it. I still see just the information that we have here, nothing additional really to add to it. So it looks like that's where he is undertaking these evaluations now. This place actually opened in 1975, so it has been around for a while. I was trying to see if I could pull up their maximum security prisons, but maybe I will save that for another video. So at this point in time, he is being assessed. They will determine where he goes at that point, and he will serve out those 2 consecutive life sentences. So hopefully that gives you a better understanding of what's happening now that he has been convicted and sentenced to 2 life terms. So since you have that information, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.